Welcome to Millionaire Insiders. I'm Jaime Tardy, and I'm really excited to have Dr. Ivan Misner back on the show. He is the referral king. He knows everything about referrals, considering he runs and founded BNI, the Business Networking International, with 6,700 groups all across the world. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you. My pleasure. BNI stands for Business Network International.
What did I say?
Business networking.
Darn. All right. Business
Okay.
Network International. Thanks for clarifying. So we were just talking a minute ago, and I was telling you a story because since you know referrals really, really well, and I've done both not so good ways of getting referral when I first started and much better ways now, I want to find out what your tactics are. And I was telling you this story that my mentor made me do. Now, I love my mentor so much. He gave me so many advice. He made me cold call, get out of my comfort zone. But one of the things he had me do was icky. So he made me go ahead and icky.
That's the technical term.
That's the technical term?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's got that, that feeling where you're like, I don't want to do this. Not the uncomfortableness, the I'm going to put somebody else off if I do this. And that's not cool. So I invited a friend and he was like, you need to get them to write down 3 names that could be possible referrals with their phone number. You can call. I'm going like, that doesn't feel comfortable to me as far as I would feel bad if I was put in that spot. So what I want from you is to be able to really find out what are some natural ways to be asking for referrals that aren't going to put off your friends, because the whole point is having this relationship.
Right. Well, you're right. You hit the nail on the head with the relationship. You really have to have the relationship. And the previous show we did, we talked about VCP, so I won't talk much about that, but it's visibility, credibility, profitability. That you have to be visible and you have to establish credibility. You must be at credibility before you can give referrals. If you're not at credibility, if there isn't trust, people aren't going to give you that referral. So your mentor's suggestion is a good one, but it was at the wrong time. I have people all the time say to me, hey, Ivan, never hurts to ask, right? Yeah, it does hurt to ask. If you ask too early, it hurts to ask, because you're not only going to get a no, but you'll get they'll be thinking, yeah, this is not going to be a good relationship, because they're going for the sale before there's a relationship. They're asking for me to refer to a friend, and I haven't even used them myself yet. So it is possible to ask too early. I wrote a book called The 29% Solution, which it's an unusual title, but it's about how you become, the concept of 6 degrees of separation, how the whole world is separated by 6 degrees. By the way, it's not true. Even the person who did the study found that only 29% of the participants were connected by 6 degrees.
I just saw Kevin Bacon and the guy that created that at South by Southwest like a month ago. That's so funny. He didn't say that in the presentation. Keep going.
So you were at South by Southwest?
Yeah. It was
I live in Austin. You should have told me.
I live in Austin.
Okay, well, so we're right by each other. Who knows?
That's hilarious. All right, we'll talk after about that.
Too funny. So it's about the 6 degrees of separation, and how even Stanley Milgram realized that only 29% of the participants were actually separated by 6 degrees. And so what does it take to be one of that part of that 29%? Okay, so in the book, we say, of course, it's week by week. What do you do week 1, week 2, week 3, 52 weeks? We say in there, you got to ask for the referral. But do you know what week? It's like week number 42.
Wow.
Yeah. So what happens is it's week number 1. Hi, my name's Ivan. It'd be great if you could refer me. Well, you're asking too early. Now, you don't always have to wait until week number 42. You have to wait until there's a relationship, until you're at credibility. Because if you ask for referrals before you're at credibility, you're not going to get the referral. You're going to have the exact opposite reaction of what you want. And so you got to wait until you have that credibility. Then when you ask for the referral, absolutely we'll get it. Let me give you a good example. I have a friend, his name is Alex. Alex understood the importance of investing in the relationship. There's in there's actually a thing called social capital theory. Social capital theory is really the process of networking and building relationships. And social capital is like financial capital. You have to invest in the relationship before you can take a withdrawal. Okay? And Alex gets social capital. And so for about a year, he would just reach out to me and give me some ideas and give me some support. And I kept saying to him, Alex, how can I help you? He's like, no, nothing. I just had this idea and I thought I'd run it by you and see if it was of any value to you. And I'm like, yeah, actually, that's a pretty good idea. And he would do that every couple of months for a year. He ended up giving me some ideas, and then he actually gave me some services. I'm like, Alex, I'm not asking for anything free. He said, no, but I think this will help you. And he gave and he gave and he gave and he gave and he gave. One day, he picks up the phone and he calls me out of the blue. And he said, hey, Ivan, listen, I have a favor to ask you. I said, Alex, stop. He said, what? I said, the answer is yes. He said, what the favor is? I said, two things. First, I know you well enough that I can't imagine you would ask me for anything that was unreasonable. And the second is, you have done nothing but invest in this relationship. You've given, you've given, you've given. This is the first time you've said, could you do me a favor? The answer is yes. What do you want me to do? And he was shocked. And I said, you shouldn't be shocked. You know, you've been investing in this relationship. What is it? And he told me what it was. It was like, are you kidding? I'd love to do that for you. I'd be happy to do that. That's the difference between, hi, would you give me 3 names? You know, I know we just met, but could you give me 3 names? Versus investing in the relationship. It's a whole different mindset.
Definitely. So the hard thing is that entrepreneurs want everything now. And so when we start, especially when somebody's like coming in and going, okay, I need to grow the business, let's figure this stuff out. And maybe, like you said, it doesn't have to be a year or week 42, but what sort of tips do you have for maybe shortening the curve? I know getting to credibility is the point, but is there any way we can get to credibility faster or better?
Yes. There are things that you can do, and here I'll give you the sort of the longer term, but then let me give you a shorter term thing. The longer term thing is train referral partners. So when you're going to networking events, teach people how to refer you. Don't ask for referrals yet. Teach them how to refer you so that they can be thinking about, oh, wait, I know somebody that does that, and they can give that referral. So the process is about training referral partners, not closing sales. If you want to try to expedite the referral process, there are a few things you can do, one of which is when you're meeting people for the first time, and we talked about this in our first interview, ask them questions, get them to open up. But here's the one question to ask that I think can help expedite the process. When you meet someone, you say, "Tell me about what you do. What's your target market? Do you have what's an ideal referral for you?" Once you have a conversation going for a little while, don't lead with this question ever. When you get towards the end of your conversation, say, "So, what are some of the challenges that you have in your business?" Now, if you start with that, people are going to go, "Who are you and why are you asking me this question?" But if you end with that, you'll be shocked. People will actually tell you some of the challenges they have in the business. Now, here's your opportunity, and it's not going to work every time by far, but here's your opportunity, then help them. So they'll tell you, well, one of the biggest challenges I've got right now is this. And if you're a good networker, you're a connector. You have all these contacts and connections in the world that you could put in touch with that person. And so you can say, I think I may know someone who might be able to help you with that. Their name is so-and-so. This is what they do. Would you like me to make an introduction? And if you are, in fact, connecting them, don't use this as a way to sell to them. Oh, I can help you with that if you just buy my product. That's not what I'm talking about. So if you can actually connect them with someone, it works. Let me give you an example. I was at a church function. I grew up and lived most of my life in Southern California. I'm a reasonably new Austin transplant.
Me too.
So I was in Southern California. It was a beautiful sunny day in the summer. I was at a church event. Church, you shouldn't be networking at church, right? So I'll sidetrack. I think you should network anywhere, anytime, any place, but you must always honor the event. You must honor the event. So don't walk around at church passing out your business cards. not appropriate. But I'm at this church potluck function. Met a guy who I'd really been wanting to get to know. He's a very successful local businessman. And so I started asking him questions. Got to the end of the discussion and said, so what are some of the challenges you have in this business? And he said to me, Ivan, one of the biggest challenges I have is that I'm looking for a way to do charitable giving without having to create my own foundation. Because some years I have a lot of extra net profit, some years I don't. And I looked at trying to create a foundation, but it's so expensive to have your own foundation. And so I'm not quite sure what to do. I don't want to have to give away all the money on a great year. I'd like to keep some of it back to use when, on a year that's slower. I said, have you ever heard of a community foundation? What's that? And so community foundations are big foundations, and you can create a fund in that foundation. And when you have a great year, put as much money in it as you want and then give it away over time. And he said, oh my goodness, I have never heard of a foundation like that. He said, do you know of one? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, my company is part of a community foundation. And he pulls out his business card. He gives me his business card and he says, could you introduce me to someone at that foundation? I'm like, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. So that week, I connected him with the vice president of development of the California Community Foundation. Now, here's my question. If a week or two later, I picked up the phone and called him and asked to meet, would he take my call and would he meet with me?
Totally. In a week. There we go.
That's it. Because I did something that helped him. What we try to do in networking is we look at what's in it for us. How can I increase my business? How can I make a sale? If we look at it as, how can I help that person? It's a whole different mindset. And you're much more likely to build a relationship by helping someone than selling to someone.
I love this. Okay, good. And I love the fact that you're telling stories and that you're using it too, right? So it's not just us going, well, what people should do is this, this, and this. It's like, no, it works for me, so you should do it too, right? I really, really appreciate this. I know we sort of have to wrap up, but what's one last tip or tactic you have for like the ask of the referral? Like what words do we use? Hey, will you help me? Do you ask, hey, can I have a favor? Because usually that puts people, depending on where your credibility is, puts people on the defensive. Tell me more about that.
Well, you know what? The truth is that if you're training people how to refer you, people are going to think I'm crazy. You often don't even have to ask for the referral, because if you're teaching them how to refer you, they're out there listening and they're going to come to you. But if, let's say, you've given people business, you've supported them, you've helped them, you've taught them how to refer you by talking about the kinds of referrals that are good for you, and they still haven't given you a referral. What I do is I sit down with the person and do one-on-one, and I'll review with them the referrals that I have given them or the business that I have sent their way. And I'll do it in a way like this. I'll say, so, I referred Charlie to you. How'd that work out? Where did that, and I may know the answer to it, but I want them to talk about it. And what about that connection that I made for you? Has that been good for you? And I would just kind of go through the 2, 3, 4 connections, let them share. And then once they've shared the kinds of things that I have done to help them, then tactfully, I would say things like, it would be really, if possible, it'd be great if you could find a couple of ways to maybe send some business my way or to support me. And so here's a couple of 3 things that would be of value to me. Are you willing to, do something that's reciprocal if possible? And at that point, you just laid the groundwork where you showed them you've been a good friend to them. And then you lay out a few things that they could do for you. And it might be that they have a contact that you're trying to get into. A really good connection for me would be so-and-so, who I believe you know. If you could make that introduction, would really for me. Laying it up like that is kind of a no-brainer. And it'll also tell you whether they're a giver or a taker. Because if at that point they don't say, oh my goodness, yeah, I don't know why I never thought of that. I apologize. I'd be happy to do that. Then you got somebody who's a giver. But sometimes we just get busy in our own worlds and we don't think. If they say, no, I don't think I can make that connection, then you're giving business to somebody who's never going to give business back to you. Find someone who will. who's good at what they do and find someone to build that kind of relationship with.
Beautiful. Now, I said that was the last question, but I had one more that came up.
Okay.
Do you pay for referrals? I know some people are like, well, we give a 10%, whatever. What's your stance on that?
Yeah, I have a strong stance on that. But some people think it works and they want to do it. Who am I to judge? I never pay for referrals. And I recommend that people don't pay for referrals because then it becomes very mercenary. If somebody is giving me a referral only because they get a kickback, I can't trust that that's really a good referral. So I tell members of BNI, look, it's your business. You can do what you want, but I don't recommend you pay for referrals because you should be doing it not out of the kindness of your own heart, but out of the relationship that you've established.
Social capital.
It's about building that social capital. And what clicked it for me for sure was seeing a real estate agent who used to give finder's fees to people. And someone, he was going to give the finder's fee to this great referral he got. And the person said, no, don't give me the money. I don't want money. What I need you to do is take care of this guy because he's my best customer. And so I want him to get the red carpet service. And if he's happy with my referral, you make me look good. And that's way better than $100 or whatever it was. And that was
exactly. It's funny. I have a story. I refer someone that helps people with podcasts all the time, and he's like, "Let me pay you." I'm like, "I don't want your money." Like, I love the fact that I have somebody that I can refer to. Poor guy, I'm overloading him. But in general, like, I love the fact that he takes care of anyone, no problem at all, and everybody loves him. I'm like, so just do that. Don't worry about me. I'll just keep sending him your way. Makes me feel good too because I can help him out without having to worry about a couple $100 in my pocket.
Right. And I'll also say sometimes, and if you know somebody that could ever use my services, I would really appreciate a reciprocal referral if it works out. And guess what? It often works out because they know you're not in it just for cold hard cash. You're in it for the love of what you do and helping other people, and you're helping them, no strings attached.
I love this. We're bringing humanity to networking so that way people know that
you know what?
It's fun.
And that's why I say BNI is changing the way the world does business, because when you think of American companies, you don't think of collaboration, cooperation, and giver's gain.
But we are. I mean, and we totally are now. I mean, I remember when I was in BNI, like that's the feeling that you get, which thank you for saying yes all those years back. So tell us where we can find more about you for BNI, where we can find you online, all that fun stuff.
You can, your viewers can go to my blog, businessnetworking.com. I have hundreds and hundreds of blogs up there. It's all free content. And of course, BNI.com. You can get information on BNI. And of course, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. And love to have your viewers come and stay connected with the stuff that I'm doing.
We'll link up to everything so they just have to click a link and not have to remember anything. Yep. Thanks so much for coming on the show today, Ivan. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed that Millionaire Insider interview. Now, the cool thing is that every single one of these episodes for the next 8 weeks will have an action guide associated with it. So you can actually take action, and you better. So go to eventualmillionaire.com/inside and you can download the workbook right now. You can also see every new insider interview as it comes out. So again, it's eventualmillionaire.com/inside.